I am Nnanna, the royal drummer, and for years my hands have beaten the sacred talking drum, carrying the voices of our ancestors across the winds of our village, Umudiki. I have seen many things in my time, wars fought, peace made, and love celebrated, but never had I seen a love so forbidding, so dangerous, yet so determined as that of Princess Akwaugo and Ikenna, the Osu from Amokwe. Ikenna was an Osu, an outcast, a man whose ancestors were dedicated to the gods and forever cursed to remain untouchable. The king's daughter, Akwaugo, on the other hand, was the pride of Umudike, the one destined to strengthen their lineage by marrying a noble warrior. Yet, against all odds, love had found them. I first noticed them one evening at the river bank. I had gone to fetch water when I saw a figure standing beneath the udara tree. The moonlight revealed her face, Akwaugo, her beauty almost otherworldly. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the figure beside her, Ikenna. His hand brushed against hers, and though they did not speak, their eyes spoke in whispers. I turned away quickly, but I knew what I have seen, and in a village like ours, secrets do not last long. The whispers began soon after. The women at the market spoke in hushed tones. The warriors shook their heads in disapproval, and the priests fumed. The elders summoned Akwaugo's father, Igwe Okori, to the Obi. This is an abomination, barked Nze Ude, the oldest among them. And Usu, have the gods not warned us against mingling with the cursed? The Igwe's face darkened. Akwaugo was his only daughter, the one he cherished above all else. But tradition was older than love, and duty was heavier than the heart. That night, I heard the Igwe's voice shake the walls of the palace. He summoned Akwaugo and forbade her from ever seeing Ikenna again. You are the first daughter of Umudike. You will not shame this household. But Akwaugo did not weep. She did not beg. She simply stood tall, her face set in stone. Father, I love him. A silence deeper than death filled the room. But the next market day, the elders had sent word to Amokwe. Ikenna was summoned before his village chiefs. You have shamed your people, they told him. The curse that binds us is older than time itself. You will not bring war upon us. But love, once ignited, does not bow to fear. One fateful night, under the watchful gaze of the full moon, Akwaugo and Ikenna ran. It was a foolish, reckless thing. The young never listened to the wisdom of the old. They did not get far. The warriors of Umudike caught them by the river bank, the same place where I had once seen them in secret. Akwaugo stood in front of Ikenna, shielding him. If you must take him, she said, then you must take me too. But the warriors would not harm the Igwe's daughter. Instead, they dragged Ikenna back to Amokwe and exiled him beyond the 7 hills, a place where no man dared to venture. Akwaugo was locked within the palace walls, forbidden to leave. Days turned into weeks. She refused to eat. She refused to speak. Her once bright spirit dimmed like a flame gasping for air. One morning, she was gone. No one saw her leave. No footprints marked her path, and no oracle could tell where she had gone. Some say she followed Ikenna beyond the 7 hills. Others say the gods took pity on their love and carried them away to a place where tradition had no power. But I know the truth. Some nights, when the wind is still and the moon is full, I heard the sound of a soft laughter by the riverbank, and I know Akwaugo and Ikenna are together, somewhere beyond the reach of men, beyond the chains of tradition. Their love lives on. After Akwaugo's disappearance, Umudike was never the same. The Iwe, once a man of unshaken authority, grew quiet. His shoulders, once broad with pride, slumped under the weight of a loss he could not admit. He did not speak of his daughter again, nor did he send men to reach for her. It was as though the village had agreed to erase her from memory. But I remembered one evening, a month after she vanished, I went to the riverbank where I had first seen them. The air was thick with the scent of a damp earth, and the trees whispered secrets to the wind. I sat beneath the Udara tree, my drum resting beside me, and then I heard it. Laughter, soft like the rushing of leaf, faint yet unmistakable. I turned quickly, my heart pounding. There was no one there, but the laughter lingered, carried by the wind. A chill ran down my spine. Had Akwaugo's spirit returned, or had the gods played a cruel trick on my ear? I was not the only one who had it. Fishermen spoke of seeing a shadowed figure near the water at dawn, a woman in white, her feet barely touching the ground. Children whispered that they saw two figures holding hands deep in the forest, disappearing just before they could be reached. The elders dismissed it as nonsense, warning that no one should speak of the Igwe's lost daughter. But fear is powerless against curiosity. One night, unable to resist, I took my drum and followed the river bank into the forest. The path was thick with mist, the moonlight barely cutting through the trees. Then, in the distance, I saw them, Akwaugo and Ikenna. They stood together beneath an ancient iroko tree, their fingers intertwined, their faces glowing in the dim light. They were not ghosts, not entirely. They were something else, something between this world and the next, untouched by time, embodied by tradition. She turned towards me, her eyes meeting mine. She smiled. "Tell them, Nana," she said, her voice like the wind. "Tell them love cannot be chained." And then they were gone. I returned to the village, but I did not speak. Who would believe me? Who would dare question the old ways? Years passed. The Iwe grew old and was replaced by a new king, one who did not hold the past as tight. Slowly, the laws began to change. The first daughters of Umudike were no longer bound by duty to marry within. The Osu, once cursed and shunned, were slowly welcomed back into the fold. Change came like the river, slow, persistent, unstoppable. To this day, When the wings sing through the trees at dawn at night, the villagers know it's Akwaugo and Ikenna, a love that could not be broken, a story that refused to be forgotten. And I, Nana, the royal drummer, still beat my drum, carrying their voices through the wing of Umudike, so that their love may never fade. As time passed, the whispers of Akwaugo and Ikenna became legend, woven into the very fabric of Umudike. Some swore they saw their shadow dancing by the riverbank when the moon was high. Others claimed the trees whispered their names in the wind, but while the spirits of the past lingered, the living had a choice to make. The new king, Ezobi, was a man of vision. He had grown up hearing the tragic love story of the king's daughter and the Osun outcast. Unlike his predecessors, he did not see it as a tale of shame, but as a lesson. One day, at a gathering of elders, he rose and spoke words that had never been dared before. Who among you can say that love is a crime? Who among you can swear that the gods themselves rejected the love of a man and a woman? The elders stirred, their old belief crashing with a new truth they could not ignore. The people listened, hesitant yet hopeful. Ezobi continued, his voice steady. The Osu were once our brothers and sisters before the gods marked them. But have the gods themselves come to strike them down because those who love them? Or is it we who have clung to chain we forged ourselves? A heavy silence followed. No elder dare challenge him, and so the first law fell. For the first time in generations, an Osuman was allowed to own a land in Umudike. A woman was free to love without the chains of her lineage binding her. The change did not come without resistance. There were those who still whispered against it, those who clung to the past like a drowning man to a broken raft. But time, like the river, does not flow backwards. The first daughter of Umudike, in an act of quiet defiance, married a man from another village. The people waited, watching the skies, fearing the gods would strike her down. But the rain still fell, the sun still rose. Life went on. One by one, the chains broke. The Osu, who had lived in the shadow, began to walk freely in the marketplace. The young no longer whispered in fear about who they could love. The elders, though slow to change, began to nod in silent approval. But I knew the truth. Akwaugo and Ikenna had never truly left. They were in the winds that carried laughter through the village. They were in the river that continued to flow, unbothered by the laws of men. Their love had not died. It had simply planted the seed. And now, in the village where love was once forbidden, it had begun to blossom.